This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
In Walmart's Who Newville, joy started to grow. For online-only savings sure to steal the show. Tech treats and toys so dazzling and new. Walmart Cyber Monday deal soon ready for you. It's online only with very little time to spare. December 1st will soon be here, so be sure to be there. The Who's are prepared. Are you ready too? A day packed with savings. Amazing! Who knew? Subject to availability, terms and fees apply.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
'Tis the season for all your holiday favorites, like A Very Jonas Christmas Movie and Home Alone on Disney+.
Should I burn down the joint? I don't think so.
Then Hulu has National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
We're all in for a very big Christmas treat.
All of these and more streaming this holiday season. And right now, save big with our special Black Friday offer. Bundle Disney Plus and Hulu for just $4.99 a month for 1 year. Savings compared to current regular monthly price. Ends 12/1. Offer for ad-supported Disney Plus Hulu bundle only. Then $12.99 a month or then current regular monthly price. 18 plus terms apply.
Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. Earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy a welcome offer of 200,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Hello and welcome to Islanders Anxiety from Lighthouse Hockey and the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Dan Saracini. Joining me on this Sunday evening via Zencaster is my friend Michael Leboff. And Mike, do you remember when the Islanders went on a road trip and they came back 6-1 and they beat a bunch of the teams in the hottest or best teams in the NHL, and we were all feeling really good. They were coming home for a long homestand and with some teams that seemed beatable at the time, and we thought, wow, this is really where they can, they've gotten themselves back in a playoff position and they could really solidify that with some wins at home. Do you remember that period?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do, and I remember exactly how I felt thinking that and being convinced that this time would be different. I think we even alluded to Lucy in the football with Charlie Brown and being like, it just doesn't feel like that's going to happen, which is a very Charlie Brown thing to say as you're holding a football for Lucy to kick.
Yes. The football has been pulled.
Yeah.
Lucy is once again laughing at the Islanders, and that short time period seems like it was forever ago, basically.
Especially because the way that it was put on the schedule with the holidays happening, so you're seeing your family and
Right.
you're eating and turkey. People are tired and happy and kicking off the Christmas season and all that, and you just throw an Islander absolute hurricane in the middle of all that, and you're trying your best to put on a this team doesn't rule my life. I'm not being short with you at the Thanksgiving table because the Islanders lost to the Bruins last night. This is how I am normally. But God, it's tough, man, because this is the type of string of games where you said it, I think, on the last podcast talking about the game with the Blues. There's a difference between the team making you mad at the team, and the team making yourself mad at yourself for being mad at the team, and that's where I am now, because I'm pretty mad at myself for falling for it again. And that's what sports do, right? On both sides of the pendulum. When you're going really well, you feel like nothing's going to ever go wrong again. And when you're going really poorly, you feel like, well, they're never going to win again. And that's just how it goes no matter what. And we've been through this now for, probably close to 60, 70 years of fandom between the two of us. And
next week is our 350th episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say 350 episodes together, and I'm sure that of those 350, maybe 20% of them are conversations like this, which is, how did we fall for it again? But this time it really did look like they had some fail safes to like not fall into this, and they could outscore their problems. The goalies were getting hot. They were defending better. Like, everything was heading in the right direction to a homestand, a 7-game homestand. They were playing at home all these games against not. There are some good teams sprinkled in there, but the Islanders have basically been a favorite or a coin flip game at worst in all of these in terms of like betting odds, and they are they're falling flat, and I like. The team is to blame, but I have nobody else to blame but myself for just completely getting wrapped up in what was coming, and not thinking that another shoe could drop, and it did. And with the Islanders too, it feels like there's no slow burn with stuff like this. It's always just, it goes from happiness to catastrophe in a blink of an eye in 1 week, right? Like last week, you listen to last week's episode of this one, the tone goes from relatively jovial to catastrophic in the span of a week, and the holidays and Thanksgiving. One Thanksgiving on either side of Thanksgiving were completely different. So it's I don't, and that right now I'm on that other side of the pendulum where I'm like, I don't even see a way out of this.
Oh no! Oh, absolutely not. No, I don't see one either. We're going to get into the upcoming week, which has a unique theme as well. But we're going to talk about the theme of the last 4 games also. And I totally get what you're saying, like getting mad at the team and then being mad that you're mad. Because I'll be honest, on Friday afternoon, after what now in retrospect was a pretty good point picked up by the Islanders in a shootout loss to the Flyers. Stop me if you've heard that one before. I was apoplectic. I was absolutely furious at these guys for, another home game where they left everybody just feeling miserable on the way out. And it didn't sit right with me. And the way I thought about it was like, they, obviously they're not winning on this homestand, which really sucks. They have blown through all that goodwill and points that they got in that epic road trip. But now it's like, you are giving the people who you're really supposed to be giving the most to just nothing to grab onto, just absolutely nothing. And if this team is at any point going to claw back the generations of fans that they've lost through, years and years of mediocrity, not really doing much of anything, it has to start by winning games at home. And like, you can't just like present people with new options for expensive clothes at Isles Lab, or like new food that's also very expensive, or like, the park outside. Like, these are all nice things, but like ultimately you have to bring people to your arena with good, fun games that the team wins. And that's how people want to keep coming back and bring their kids back, and people become fans over time. Like, I mean, for Christ's sake, we do a podcast that 95% of the audience listening to it pays nothing for. It's free for them. It's just free. It's always going to be free. And yet I am still constantly concerned about that we are giving people enough. Like, I want to make sure that we are giving people enough to keep them coming back to our show and listening and enjoying us. And these guys don't seem to have the same kind of like focus. It just drives me a little bit nuts. It's like, come on, it's the Flyers. Like, come on. Like, seriously, like, no offense, but like, come on. Like, we're doing this again against the Flyers. And that's after the loss to the Bruins, after a shootout win over Seattle, which I guess is better than nothing. That's after that game against St. Louis, and obviously before today's kind of just very frustrating loss to the Capitals. We're going to get into all these in a few minutes, but it was just like, I was very mad again that I was mad, which is what you're talking about, but also like, I wasn't even mad at the loss so much as I was like, guys, you got to get people to come to your building and watch you play.
Right.
And games like this aren't going to help you. So what are you doing out there?
Nassau Coliseum had this like built-in excuse where if Brad Lukowich and the New York Islanders came home after winning 3 of 4 on a road trip, and you're like, wow, the team's doing well, and then they lost 7 in a row, and you'd be like, well, how much did you pay to get into the building?
Exactly.
Nothing. I just walked in, and a security guard patted me down and slapped me on my high knee, and I walked in. Okay. Right. How much did you pay for food? Oh, I had nothing. I didn't eat there. I just had a pretzel on the way out. Okay. And like, where'd you sit? Oh, I sat like 3 rows from the glass because I just walked down and nobody, they gave the usher a nod. He gave me a nod and we were all set. Right. So, and how much you pay for parking? Oh, I parked at Kellenberg. Are you kidding me? Like,
exactly.
Right. So yeah, of course, like those teams had a built-in excuse, and they can be like, well, there's 6,000 people here. Not half of them paid. They are and we're the Islanders. We're on a shoestring budget. This is completely different from that, where when you're walking into the building, you hear the grumbling about the parking, the prices, the hike you have to take. When you walk past Isles Lab or walk through Isles Lab, you see people pick up a hat and they're like, oh, this is cool. And then they look at the price tag and they're like, well, I'm going to put that right back. And I was at the game on Friday against the Flyers. I was with Matty the usher. I saw Rish, saw his son Bodie. And I saw Desmond, tickets via Gavin, our good friend. It was like a really nice setup for an afternoon, to be there. And the crowd was ready to go.
Right.
And the Flyers scored on their first shot.
Yep.
Right. So like, and that's not like, it was fluky, whatever. But what wasn't fluky is that came on the heels of losing to the Bruins, like you said, losing to the Kraken or beating the Kraken in a shutout game, and then losing to the Blues. And that Blues game came on the heels of a Newsday cover that said, like, we want them to rock the barn. And it was basically the Islanders like pleading to their fan base, like, hey, we did our part, you come do our part, your part, because like we're home after a 6-1 road trip, like show up. And we're like, well, we did. And so did the price tags and the parking lot situation and all that. But yeah, so and then that's the problem with what's going on. It's like there's like no lockstep between like the organization and like where the product is like on the ice at all. It feels like we're being sold something completely different from what we're watching. Like we're now in scratch tooth and claw mode from game 24 or whatever to game 82 if we're lucky to get into the playoffs. Like we're now right back into those trenches that we thought maybe we weren't gonna have to revisit this year, but we're right back there. We're looking around, you see all your old friends like, hey, oh, you're back for this season too, that's great. And we're there, and the team is selling freaking the guy from One Tree Hill is at the game. Like it just falls flat when this is what's going on. And there's just, I don't know, there's no excuse for playing like this in a homestand like that. Right. And I get like they you can tell me all you want that the team's playing well, fine. Like they're fine. Like their shooting percentage in this homestand is in the toilet. They're out chancing their opponents. I get it, but as fans, and when the team is like pleading for the building to be filled, and Nikita Zadorov is calling it a library, like I want the home atmosphere to be where it should be for the New York Islanders when they're even scratching for a playoff berth. But it's not going to be there if this is how you're treating the fans both on the ice and off the ice. So it's not our fault. It's that the place sounds like a library. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And as far as excuses go, we are going to get into a big one that actually came up obviously this week that is going to impact the rest of the season, and how I think we look at it, how a lot of people look at it, maybe not so much how the team looks at it, at least externally, but perhaps internally. And like I said, we're going to get into the next couple of games on the other side. And then we're also going to talk about MSG. We're going to do a little bit of a sort of quarter season check-in with the team's broadcast partner. what we like, what we don't like, that kind of stuff. Before we dive into all that, reminder that we are on Patreon, patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety. Membership gets you ad-free episodes, bonus podcasts, written posts, chats with us, and a whole lot more. You can try a 7-day free trial of our Country Club tier or join for free to get our weekly release calendar. This is also the holiday season, so if you want to gift a subscription to a friend of yours that maybe isn't a subscriber, you can do that too. You can do that all, patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety. Okay, I'm going to shotgun through these games very quickly. We'll talk about them individually a little bit, and then we're going to kind of talk about them as a group again, because they do have a very similar theme going through it, and you just alluded to it. First was the 3-1 loss to Boston. They had a hot start. Barzal scores a sick goal. This would have been the highlight of the season had they won this game. Kind of gets around the D, short side behind Jeremy Swayman, makes it 1-0 Islanders. Place is absolutely going ballistic. 90 seconds later, Alex Steves right in front ties the game at 1. There's like a Boquist stick wave in there. I mean, nothing. Just very sloppy period from the Islanders. Right off in the second period, bouncing puck finds Tanner Jeannot, whips it in 2-1 Boston. Islanders, of course, power play goes nowhere. We'll talk about that also in a little bit. Third period, Schaefer giveaway leads to a 2-on-1. Fraser Minton scores 3-1 Boston. That was basically it. They had a couple shots at the empty net. Drouin hit off one off of Swayman's mask, and that was it. Sorokin made 11 saves in this game, which basically indicates how the game went. The Islanders had the puck the whole night, had plenty of shots. Jeremy Swayman made 41 saves, but they were probably the 41 easiest saves he's ever made in a 3-1 or 1-goal win in his entire career. Shots were 45-15 Islanders, and it was just like pretty depressing. The Bruins swept them, and afterwards everybody kind of seemed stunned and a little mad. And I thought, we'll talk about the Flyers game in a minute, but I thought, boy, these guys seem really pissed off about this. I wonder if that's going to lead to a good game on Friday. Of course, it didn't, but again, we'll talk about that in a minute. But what'd you make of this game? This was just a very frustrating experience because the Islanders played fairly well for most of it. As statistically, they were in charge of everything, but just Jeremy Swayman was fantastic. And listen, he's really good, but this is now a pattern now of making goalies come in and look like Patrick Waugh, ironically enough.
This is the classic time for moral victory game is over. You use that mulligan on the Blues,
right,
and you only get one if you start the season 0-3 and then need to claw your way out by having a miracle 6-1 road trip. So yeah, just going to bed that night thinking, oh well, at least they played well. Didn't sit better with me considering how the first 2 games of the road trip, the homestand went, right? So they start the homestand 1 and 2 with the one win being a shutout win in a shootout.
Right.
I don't want to. You don't want to hear that moral victory stuff. It is the. I was complaining about how a couple weeks ago, you'll be on the Islanders Instagram and it'll say final score 4-2 Wild, and then the next thing is but Grant Thornton was at the game and tried our thing, and that our new slice carving station at the Dime Club you can't afford. But that this is hearing a moral victory is sort of the post game press conference version of that. Because as you said, it seemed like there was some frustration building up. They realized we need to tidy up and take advantage of games where we play this well. Here's the thing: good teams, if the Islanders are a good team, and it looked like for a little while there they were, good teams win the games that they play better than their opponent a lot more often than they lose them. And they played the Bruins 3 times. I think they were probably the better team all 3, and then they lost all 3.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to really hear much more of it. You tip your cap to Swayman, sure, but find a way in, change the lines. We were talking about on last week how they just looked like they all of a sudden went from a team there where at least 3 of the lines were going every night, and the line that wasn't going was because it had Casey Cizikas running the show on it, and to a team where if one line's going, you're like, all right, at least the Holmstrom Richie Duclair line's working tonight, and the rest of them are falling flat. And it felt like that a little bit. As you said, Barzal starts the scoring, the crowd's into it, and they can't build on it. Like this is what we're getting at, right?
Mm.
You can't point the finger at the building and wonder like why the ticket sales are down when you put on a show like that in the first 3 minutes, and then you're just like, well, that's it. We're shutting down shop for the night.
Yeah.
Tip your ushers on the way out. If you want to stay for the rest of the game, by all means, but you're not going to like what's going to happen. And
Right.
and it felt like that should have, as you said, if it made them mad that they couldn't capitalize on it, it should have meant we're going to come out with our hair on fire against the Flyers.
Mm.
They something was on fire when they started that game against the Flyer, but definitely wasn't their hair. I was close to leaving that game at the first intermission.
Yeah, something was on fire, that's for sure. And it wasn't the Islanders. It was very, very irritating. But real quick on the Bruins, one thing I noticed was that, like I said, Swayman had a very easy night. Nobody was sitting in front of him on basically almost every Islanders power play in that game. Of course, they went 0 for 3. There wasn't an Islander within 12 feet of him. And I'm like, guys, can we make this a little bit harder on this guy, please? But it was hugely annoying. And just, again, to be swept. This was a week, by the way, where teams learned that they could bully the Islanders. We're going to get into this in the Caps game that happened just hours ago before we were recording here. But this was a week in which the Islanders were just straight up bullied, particularly by the Bruins, who had already bullied them earlier this season. Again, Nikita Zadorov and his Instagram account doing a lot of it too. But this was just a game where they were like, no, we're not gonna lose this. Let me ask you this real quick. What is worse, giving up a goal, like in feeling wise, like what makes you feel worse? Giving up a goal with a couple of seconds left in a period, or giving up a goal like less than a minute into a period? Because I got to tell you, when Tanner Jeannot scored that goal in that Bruins game, that was at my point with you. I was like, I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this tonight. Like, they're just not going to happen.
It's so funny you say that, because I would feel I would have agreed with you on that spot. And then when the Flyers did the other thing, I was like, well, that's what it is, because I feel like the Islanders are the only team in the league that takes a penalty, which I'm going to get into that in a second. And like
right at the end of the period,
the power play will straddle the intermission. No team scores on that power play unless they're playing the Islanders. They're the only team that can ever kill off that power play. So
right,
I mean, they're just. But here's the point: it's like the Islanders just for years, for our entire lives, they've just been kings of the gut punch goal.
Yes,
right.
Oh, yeah.
So it's no matter what version of a gut punch goal there is, this team will find a way to do it, and they'll do it ample times where you have these conversations where you're like, well, which one's, bench, cut, start, gut punch goals. Like the Islanders are the only team where you can like really have a nice thought out debate about this, because the other teams are like, well, that rarely happens to us. Like, maybe we give up a goal at the end of the first period or at the end of the period, but we don't do that and also give up the goal in the first minute of a period, and also on the first shot of a game or the first 3 shots of a game, which the Islanders have done 3 games in a row now. I think
that's right up there, by the way, with like, how every team is like, oh, we always give up a rookie's first goal, or we always give up a guy's first shutout. Everybody thinks their team gives up the most goals on the first shot, and I'm pretty sure the Islanders aren't in that list, but it does feel like they kind of are, because like it happens a lot.
They're certainly getting up there this week, because you turn the game on, you sit down, and you're like, all right, well, we're down 1-0, so
right. They're making up for lost time. So Bruins game before Thanksgiving sucks ass, ruined everybody's Thanksgiving, ruined mine, I'm sure. But there was a game on the other side of Thanksgiving on Friday. How did that one go? Well, it was a 4-3 shootout loss to the Flyers that seemed much worse at the time, because the Flyers went up 3-0 at the beginning of the second period. Heineman gives away the puck to Tyson Forrester. He scores, makes it 1-0 Flyers. 22 seconds later, Tony DeAngelo makes a beautiful cross-ice pass to Sean Couturier, who scores makes it 2-0 Flyers. If you weren't already on the get rid of Tony DeAngelo train, this was probably the moment that you were. And I mean, it's 2-0 Flyers, and the crowd is pissed off. Did the Islanders play that poorly in that period? Not really, but they were down 2-0 going into the second period. What happens in the second period? Just like you said, power play straddling the period. Trevor Zegras makes it 3-0 Flyers, like a minute into the period.
And it wasn't even the fact that power play straddled the period. The Islanders took a penalty, a needless penalty, with 8 seconds left in the first period by Kyle McLean.
Yep.
just elbowed some guy in the face with 8 seconds left. The Flyers weren't even going to try to score. They were just like passing the puck around like the period's over. And then this guy comes in and absolutely elbows somebody. And I think it was that guy, Rodrigo a ball, or one of the Flyers who I've never heard of before. Emil Andre maybe just gets elbowed in the face, clear as day, right in front of where we were sitting. And I was like, well, they're obviously going to score on this because it's a guy who shouldn't be in the lineup, hasn't like earned his way in his lineup, is taking a really stupid penalty and is not going to get punished for taking that penalty for sure.
Yeah.
That one was, I shouldn't even been back in my seat for that power play because I was like, this is going to be a goal. And of course it was like off of Ryan Pollock's foot too. So.
Right. Yeah. It's just the worst. So now it's 3-0 Flyers and you're like, come on. Like this is ridiculous. I mean, I waited all
booing.
Thanksgiving for this.
Crowd's booing.
Crowd's booing.
Yeah.
Right.
If we were in Canada, there would have been a jersey on the
jersey
ice.
Toss. Yeah. Right. It's it's a disappointing lack of jersey tossing this season so far, but I guess there's still time for the Oilers and Leafs to make that happen. But anyway, how could this possibly get any worse? Well, it gets better before it gets worse. So Kyle Palmieri goes into the corner with Jamie Drysdale, comes up kind of clutching his leg. The play continues. There's no whistle for some reason. Palmieri gets up to his skates, starts making his way towards the Islanders bench, steals the puck from a Flyer, passes to Jonathan Drouin, who passes to Heineman, who scores, makes it 3-1 Philadelphia. That is your Vanda Pharmaceuticals shot of the week. Get vaccinated today. But we hope that Kyle Palmieri also gets some helpful pharmaceuticals in him because it was found out later on that he tore his left ACL on that play. And he is now out 6 to 8 months, which is the season, unless the Islanders make the Stanley Cup final. This is just so let's give Palmieri his due in a minute, but this kind of starts a run for the Islanders. Casey Cizikas keeps the puck in. There's a late penalty to Schaefer, who beats Sam Ersson clean, makes it 3-2 Philly. And then later on, Barzal goes on the tour. He finds Schaefer to Shabanov. Lee tips it in, ties the game at 3, a complete 180 from the first period. They went back and forth in the third. No goals. Richie gets high sticked. 4-minute power play. Absolutely nothing happens. They go to OT. Barzal has the game on his stick, shanks it on a 2-on-1 in overtime. They go to the shootout. Of course, it's Zegras, Travis Konechny. They score for Philly. Simon Holmstrom, he's the only guy who could score in the shootout for the Islanders, and he does, but it's not enough. David Riddick was great after the first period. He made 18 saves and settled in. Ersson always looks like goddamn Bernie Parent against the Islanders. He made 28 saves. He was really good. They dominated the Flyers. They absolutely dominated the Flyers. They could not complete the comeback, but really, the point was good. I was absolutely just beside myself all day for the rest of the day because of, as I said before, like you can't keep doing this to people. But the worst news was yet to come, and that Kyle Palmieri is now out for the season. How are they going to address this? Probably just by bringing up other dudes and doing what they did today. We'll talk about today's game, putting Max Siplikov back in. McLean's obviously back in again. They did call up Mark Gatcomb, so maybe we'll see him one of these days. But this is enormous. I know I've gone over Palmieri before and his long goalless streaks, but this guy is an important play for the Islanders. He kills penalties. He's a leader. He's always trying to make something happen, even if he goes gets snake bit for 15 or so games every season, it seems. This really sucked. And I can't believe in now the span of a week and a half, the Islanders have lost 2 players for the season. Alex Romanov, too, is also out for the season, too. And it's tough. This, to me, is basically changes the entire direction of the team. Let me ask you what you thought of Palmieri and his, not just the game here, but we've kind of talked about it. They dominated. They just lost. But losing Palmieri is kind of infinitely worse than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a that play happened right in front of where we were sitting, and I was like, oh man, I think Palmieri just blew out his knee. And I watched the entire thing. I had like a perfect view of the entire thing. I'm like, is he gonna try to take this puck from this guy? And he is. Oh my, they scored. And then I thought at the time, like, okay, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought because he was able to kind of get off on his own volition and whatever. And it was the type of goal that, if that doesn't inspire a team to come back, you just shut down the season. I mean, you just watched a one-legged teammate do that, get the building going. And the Islanders, to their credit, did find their way back into it, tie it up, get a point. But it takes a really special group to be mad at getting a point out of a game where you were down 3-0, because the Islanders were down 3-0, but they tied the game 3-3, and from that point on, they should have won the game. They had so many opportunities, including a 4-minute, a double minor with 5. How many times in my life have I seen like the Rangers get that exact break that the Islanders got, where they're down in a game, they look like shit, they find a way back through whatever, a break, a couple bounces, then all of a sudden it's 3-3 and you're pissed and you're like, freaking Rangers are doing it again. Oh, and now the refs are getting involved, double minor. There's Mika Zibanejad scoring a goal, or Chris Kreider or Peter Pruka, whoever the hell. But when it's the Islanders, like, I remember talking to Manny being like, I'm more nervous about a shorthanded goal here than I am like excited that the Islanders are going to take advantage of this opportunity, because they just weren't going to. And boy, man, that power play has, and we'll get into this in the second half with the way it's talked about on the broadcast, but there's nothing threatening about it. It's pretty to look at sometimes, the way they can pass a puck around, because, oh wait, these are NHL players on a power play, so of course they can pass a puck around on a power play,
right? But
they can't score, especially when they need it. And yeah, it's just, I mean, that was killer to walk out of there, knowing that they came back, they erased a 3-0 lead. Great, it was in a vacuum, a very kind of entertaining game if you strip away the results leading into the context of like, oh, this is a 7-game homestand and they need to win this game. They're also competing with the Flyers and Bruins and Capitals in terms of the standings right now. Like, they're all neck and neck, and they just handed over a whole bushel of points to those teams. And then you walk out of the building, you know that Palmieri's, from what Wah was saying, like, oh, this is where he's out. So you just lump him with Romanov, and also Pajot's week to week. Hopefully before Christmas, JG Pajot is back, and the Islanders are all of a sudden in like I said, a catastrophe. And this is what I think I was alluding to this a little bit last week, which was, you came into the season with no expectations. You absolutely raised the expectations,
right,
with the way you started the season and with that road trip, to the point where when you do something like this, which is have a stinker of a 7-game homestand, you lose a couple players, like, people are going to be disappointed. You lost the hey, but we're not supposed to be good this year,
right?
Jazz hands kind of thing. Like, look at number 48, guys. Remember him? But we're gonna make him pet a bunch of cats and put the video on Twitter. Like, that's all gone. Like, we want to see the team win, and now it's going to be a lot harder for that team to do it, because Palmieri is crucial. I think he's incredibly underrated to the entire way that this team works, because he's just somebody who can play on any of those first 3 lines and kills penalties, plays on the power plays. 18 points. Right. Palmieri does in his 25 games this season. And I don't know, it feels like one of those injuries with where he's at in his career. Like, you're just like, damn, is that right? Is that it? Like, because this is what's his name, Max Pacioretty, right? Had a similar kind of place in his career, and then he blew his leg out, and just was never the same. So I don't know. It's just, it sucks when this happens, because you feel like that could be it. Like, that could just be it. And
well, I think that's fair to wonder about that. I mean, the guy's, whatever, 35 years old, and
right, absolutely, so. and he was pivotal. Like, he was going, and now they have to. The Islanders went from being in a weird spot where they had too many good wingers, where they were scratching guys who were pretty good, to now they don't. And the decision is, should we play Kyle McLean or Mark Gatcomb tonight? And for some reason, the answer is always Kyle McLean. Yeah. And
seriously.
So I thought we were going to get to a point a couple, like 10, 13 days ago, where I was like, wow, I really think like this team is going to be settled, and we're going to have like a four line team where we'll have Anthony Duclair and Max Siplikov maybe on either side of Cal Ritchie on the 4th line, with Horvat, Barzal, and Pajot, then Ritchie as a 4th line center. This could be a real juggernaut situation, and now they look like a completely different team. So
losing JG Pageau completely threw the lineup into total disarray. Losing Kyle Palmieri, will mean less disarray, but also less goal scoring talent. And they need to, that's being said, this is like an opportunity for certain guys, even like Kyle McLean, who I think we're all basically out on at this point. He has a chance to like do something here and kind of sort of maybe in a little way make up for the loss of Kyle Palmieri. Same with Sipikov, same with Anthony Duclair. These guys have a chance here to do something that will help the team, because again, I don't think that they're going to go out and make a big trade. I can't see them like, this isn't like a trade a first round pick for Jerome McGinley situation, where guys,
for Kyle Palmieri.
For Kyle Palmieri, exactly. Or JG Pageau, I don't think they're in the Quinn Hughes sweepstakes that we're going to keep hearing about until, he either leaves or signs an extension or something. So like, it's going to be one of these guys. Maybe there's somebody else from Bridgeport that gets called up. I don't know, but like maybe there's some bargain basement guys. We might get into this in the second half if we have time, like sort of bargain basement guys that aren't working on these teams that are already out of the playoffs, like Nashville or Calgary, that, or Vancouver, that are just like, whatever, you can throw us a lower pick or something next year. Maybe that's something, but even that I think is pretty unlikely. I think they're just going to, like you said, Patrick Roy said after today's game that like, our goal is still to win games, but at the same time, you also don't want to like lose assets for something that it doesn't seem like it's going to, you're not going to find another Kyle Palmieri growing in a tree somewhere that you can pick up really easily, unless you get very, very lucky. So this news has really sucked. Again, I'm a guy who I've criticized Palmieri a lot on this show for going long stretches without scoring, but I mean, I still feel like he's a pretty important player, and losing him for 6 to 8 months is just brutal. And then you throw in exactly what you just said, which is like, what's it going to be like when he comes back? I mean, at this point, I think we can all assume he'll be back for training camp, but like, gosh, it's going to be a long road back, man. And I feel bad, as much as we joke about the Vanda Pharmaceutical shot of the week, we really do hope that, medical science can come through on Kyle McLean here, because he does have one more season left. And, even if the Islanders weren't that good, he could always go help somebody else and maybe win a cup on the way out, of the league. But again, after the game, so they've lost the game. They've lost one of their best players. At this point, we didn't know he was out for the season, but obviously he was hurt. He left the game. All the players looked pretty pissed off. Anders Lee was like, Kyle Palmieri is one of the toughest guys I've ever played with. It was tough watching him out there. It sucks that we couldn't get the win, but, it was good that we come back. And again, I'm like, okay, look, they've lost these games. They've now lost Palmieri. They know he's out for a while. The Capitals are coming in. They've already beaten them at home pretty convincingly. I'm still pissed off about the Alex Ovechkin game from last year. I'll get to that in a second. Obviously, Tom Wilson is, one of our public enemies, number one. Maybe this is the game where it all comes around and the Islanders, can kind of enact some revenge, get some catharsis here for everybody on a Sunday, let everybody get back to work after Thanksgiving happy. What happens? 4-1 Capitals is the final with 2 empty net goals. So Sipikov gets back in. Good flow to start games off. Schaefer takes a penalty. Wilson scores an extremely easy power play goal, 1-0 Capitals. Logan Thompson is amazing so far this first period. Then the backbreaker, again, early in the second period, Sorokin goes behind the net to play the puck. I don't know what he's thinking. Basically coughs up the puck, and Wilson scores into an empty cage. 2-0 Washington. You can feel the air come out of the building. Everybody's pissed off. This is not how this homestand was supposed to go. The Capitals were clearly focused on Matthew Schaefer. Ryan Leonard, another rookie, was like basically just bullying him all game. And then Wilson got into the act when they went back at Leonard, and the Caps were basically daring the Islanders to do something about it. They were just like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to score a goal? No, we know you're not going to score a goal. What are you going to do? Goat us into taking a penalty and scoring the power play? No, you're not going to do that. What are you going to do? They're not going to do anything. They're not going to fight anybody. They're not going to, start some rough stuff. That's just not how this team is. There's nothing that they can do. So they just came in to bully an 18-year-old boy and win a game. And I don't know if that was, made up sort of on the ice. I don't know if this was like they planned this knowing that he is sort of the catalyst. I don't know if this came right down from Spencer Carberry, the Billy Zane looking motherfucker standing on the bench for the Capitals. But that was clearly the plan, and it worked. They had another late power play. Ryan Pulock shot pinballs around, finds Bo Horvat. He scores, makes it 2-1 Caps. Schaefer, I just saw on later on, got an assist here, so another point for him. That's great. But then they pull Sorokin, absolutely nothing. Alexei Protas and Alex Ovechkin score empty net goals. I don't know if Ovechkin got another signed Ilya Sorokin stick after scoring that empty net goal. Maybe he did. Maybe he got a Patrick Waugh signed stick at this point. I don't know. But at least he didn't celebrate it. At least he's got that going for him. I don't know why. Well, we'll get into the MSG in the second half, like I said. And again, the theme of all three of these games, the Islanders absolutely dominated this team statistically. They were ahead on expected goals for. They were up ahead in shots. They were up ahead in Corsi. They were up ahead they were either ahead or even in high danger chances. Only the Bruins game, they were even in high danger. These are all normally things you want to be ahead on. And the Islanders were ahead in all of them and lost all of them. They got 1 point out of a possible 6 points in these three games. Take nothing away from Logan Thompson or Sam Arison or Jeremy Swayman. They were all really, really good in these games. But at some point, when do the Islanders need to beat a goalie? Like, you can't have all these goalies coming in here looking like Patrick Waugh. Like, something has to be done. At least they scored on the power play today, which is better than nothing. But, Sorokin made 14 saves. Aside from that second goal, he was good. Like, I don't understand. Like, this is it's one thing to lose these games, but the way they're losing them is extremely frustrating. And today, if you watch his post-game press thing, Waugh was like, the first thing he says is, "I don't know what to tell you." It's like, thanks, coach. I don't know what to say either. They play. We keep playing this way, we're gonna win a lot of games. Okay, well, you can start that anytime. I don't know what So, in a way, he's right, but on the other hand, like, again, this is 3 goalies now, and 5 if you count Joey Decord and Binnington, whose first name I forgot now, Jordan Binnington, who also came in looking like they were trying to all make Team Canada for the Olympics, and they all look pretty good. Even Decord in that loss looked really, really good. So it's incredibly frustrating. And maybe these guys are just really good, but you got to beat some good goalies every once in a while. I don't know what these guys expect. So extremely frustrating. The Capitals, again, clearly out here to bully young Matthew Schaefer, and it worked. And I'm totally 100% blaming Spencer Carberry, because he's definitely Billy Zane. Like, he's just a movie villain at this point.
But he's a great coach, and he's got them like the Capitals right now, like they all know what they're supposed to do and what they are.
Yes.
Right? Like, even I'm watching Anthony Beauvillier.
Yes.
And I'm like, he's like buzzing around, being a little gnat, the Anthony Beauvillier that he was with under Barry Trotz. Like, he's in the perfect role for Anthony Beauvillier, just sitting shotgun with Alex Ovechkin, smiling wall to wall. And like the Capitals have this positive energy about them, and it's because they know that they show up to the rink, they do what they're supposed to do, and it's that like inherent trust that Trotz and coaches always talk about, that like they just trust the other guy in the locker room, the guy sitting next to them. Like, they're going to do their job, and they trust me to do my job, so we're just going to go do it.
Right.
And sometimes we're going to win, and sometimes we're going to lose. But we kind of just all know what we're supposed to do, and we're going to try our best to do it. And the Islanders, on the other hand, you just don't see that yet. Like, you saw glimpses of it, and it looked like the team was going to go into this like fully formed version of a good hockey team, of the Capitals from last year that everyone was saying that they could be, or just one of those teams that catches lightning in a bottle and goes, and you never know how far it can go. But they saw what that looks like today, which is the Capitals just figuring out what gets under the Islanders' skin, doing it over and over again until somebody does something about it. And nobody did anything about it, which was crazy, and it was driving me nuts, because a couple weeks ago, the Islanders were doing something about this stuff. They were like someone would look at Matthew Schaefer wrong, and the guys would jump in and pile on, or if it happened to another teammate, it looked like they were, and I don't know if it's because they're at home and they're just like tired, and they had their holidays with their families, and they're going, maybe they went Black Friday, they wanted to just do their Black Friday stuff, or what, I don't know what was going on these past 2 games, but it really looked like there wasn't any of that. And this game especially, like, it wasn't even like Tom Wilson. It was Ryan Leonard. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why on earth isn't Scott Mayfield going over to Ryan Leonard, another rookie, and just being like, I'm just going to two-hand this guy.
Well,
like,
they did. And then Wilson, like, there was a whole thing like the bench.
Yeah.
This was when Clutterbuck was like, man, I really wish I can get out there.
Right.
Like, yeah, I wish you could too, man. Like, but that's the thing. Like,
but nobody touched Leonard for the rest of the game.
Right.
The rest of the, like, go do it back to him. Like, go
Right.
do, and yeah, it felt very,
nobody touched him for the rest of the game, but they all touched Schaefer.
Right. Yes. Yeah. If you know what it felt a little bit like, it felt like a Hurricanes game in a lot of ways, where it's just like,
right. Yeah.
Like they're better. They're playing better than you. They're playing better than you're playing better than them, and you haven't made it count, and they don't care, and they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing, get the break, and it's gonna break you. And
the Bruins game also, I meant to say that, also felt like playing the Hurricanes again.
Right. It just felt like you're just kicking a ball at a wall, and it's hitting you back in the face. And this game started in such a frustrating tenor because the Islanders are playing fine. That Schaefer takes the penalty, gets Leonard. Probably should have been a penalty on Leonard. Whatever. Kill that off for the guy. And the Islanders, I think I can remember one power play goal they've scored this season, and it was like they won a face-off back to Schaefer. He just shot it, and it had the puck had eyes, and it went in. I don't remember who they did it against, but it happened. Other than that, like when the Islanders score a power play goal, or when the Islanders score a goal, just generally it feels like it's very Sisyphean, rolling a ball up a hill. Whereas when other teams, I mean, we've seen the rain. I think Clutterbuck even said it. Like, how many times have we seen Chris Kreider score that exact goal with Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech being like, okay, there's a guy over there. He doesn't look too dangerous next to the post. I'm just going to leave him. And the other team's just like, I'm just going to pass this to that guy who scores 30 goals every season, and he's going to tip it past Sorokin. And just on the blink of an eye, it's 1-0. And once again, you've now zapped the entire energy out of a crowd. And this was something that was on my mind during the Flyers game too. Is like, you can hear it during the broadcast, is the Islanders, their way to try to G the crowd back up is to just crank the volume up on the EDM or whatever they're playing, rather than just let the game kind of breathe a little bit. And it's just it's infuriating. You always say it, like, who is this for? Like, who is any of this for? I have no idea. They got Paul Cartier. Just let him do his thing over there. Just keep I know that you have an arena DJ, and he's doing what you're telling him to do. He's doing his job, or she's doing her job. But just take your hands off the knobs, let the thing breathe a little bit. And like, it's like walking into a bar and you can't have a conversation with anyone because the music is so loud. And I know this sounds very, crotchety, cynical, but the Islanders keep losing games at home, and I'm running out of things to be mad at.
Yeah.
And like, even this game, and like, the crowd is not going to get back into this game because you're playing Chapo Rowan or something. They're going to get back into this game if the Islanders can find a way to score on Logan Thompson, who, by the way, catches with his right hand. Can you guys shoot the other way and maybe try to beat him? It's like Rick DiPietro. Like, he fooled you. He catches with that hand. But yeah, I mean, this was a terribly frustrating game because they played well. And if you just close your eyes and listen to the broadcast, you would have thought, man, Islanders 7, Capitals 2.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll get into all that, but just an incredibly frustrating experience. Not the way this homestand was supposed to go. The Caps are, of the teams they've played so far, the Caps are arguably the best of them. I guess you could throw the Bruins in there too, but really the Caps, were off to a great start, fell apart for basically, the first half of November, and then kind of clawed their way back in, and are a good team. And this was the one game that was like, okay, listen, if you can, let's assume you beat St. Louis, you beat Seattle, you take one of the two games between the Bruins and Flyers, and that sets you up for a game against the Caps, and then you could either go 4-1. No, that's not how it is. They are 1-3-1 right now on this road trip, on this homestand. And again, the one came in a dual shutout win, which is the rarest of all things. And who scored the goal to win that shootout? Kyle Palmieri, who is now out for 6 to 8 months. So this isn't great. And but the other thing too is, like, this is all very familiar. Our friend Nick asked in our Patreon chat, like, why does it all of a sudden feel like the goal scoring has dried up? And I was like, because Bo Horvat stopped scoring. So I'm glad he got on the board today. But they mentioned how he had been in a while since he'd scored. He hadn't scored at any point in this homestand. I don't think he had any points in the homestand already. And then the other thing that's very frustrating about this, and I was getting into this on Blue Sky with a longtime listener, Vinny, who I was like, we were making fun of the Rangers in October for not being able to score or being able to win at home. And now the Islanders are doing the same thing. They haven't been shut out yet. They almost got there today, but I guess they were against the Seattle. But like, this is the same thing. Like, they just cannot score at home. I don't know if is it the nets? Is it the lighting? Is it the fact that the owner sits behind the net, shaking hands with everybody around him? Like, I don't know. What is it about UBS Arena that prevents them from scoring goals? I don't get it. Every shot is wide. Every shot catches the glass. Like, what is going on? It's extremely frustrating. And again, these are your people that you're supposed to keep bringing back to the arena. This is what I was saying in the beginning. Like, these people have to leave this place happy.
Right. Nobody
left there happy today. I don't even think there were that many Caps fans in the building that left that, they left happy, but I didn't hear too many of them. It just sucks.
I only went to one game last year and I've been to two this year. But the year before that, I was talking with Maddie. I was like, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw the Islanders win a game at UBS Arena. And I'm pretty sure it was the March game against the Rangers where they were up like 3-0 and then just like parked the bus for 40 minutes and the Rangers almost came back. The Islanders won 3-2. And I remember, and now I associate UBS Arena with those first 5 or 6 steps.
Yeah.
Outside of your, like when you get down the stairs out of your section to after an overtime loss, which is like, God, I'm mad. They got a point, but I'm mad. And that's why I feel about the place right now, which is like, I'm glad this place is here. And that like, I can't like just knock it over and move it to Kansas City, but I'm mad because I'm mad that the team is doing this while they're here. And it is the house. We, in soccer, especially, you hear places referred to as House of Horrors, right? The PNC Center in Raleigh is a house of horrors for the Islanders. UBS Arena is just the friendly confines for the visiting teams. It seems like they just come in, they're like, oh, this is great. We're not in New York City, so the temptation really isn't there. We're at Garden City Hotel. We're strolling down 7th Avenue. We got a nice cup of coffee. We just go to the game. There's nothing to really worry about. And we're close to the airport, so we get right out. Like, this is wonderful. What a great place to come play, beat the Islanders, push the 18-year-old around, and then leave. Like, this is terrific.
The visitors' locker room is gorgeous. It's big. It's fantastic. They have a great time. They have a great time, and then leave with 2 points.
Yeah, and then you get to watch all the retired cops from Massapequa leave mad, throw like a beer on the ice and laugh at them. Like, this is great. And just to wrap up your point about the scoring, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was like, it's unbelievable. I'm looking at their stat sheet and there's like 9 guys who are at 10 points through like 11 or 12 games. I've never seen the Islanders do this before, and none of them have budged. Simon Holmstrom's been sitting on 9 points, it seems like forever. Anthony Duclair, I don't know if how much blame you can foist on him because of where he's been in the lineup, but he's on 8 points. Anders Lee has slowed down. I mean, he's scored a couple lately, but he slowed down. He's only on 13 points with 5 goals. I mean, he's playing at a 20-goal pace right now. So it's like they're getting nothing from the blue line except from Schaefer and Ryan Polak will throw in the odd assist. Like, Tony DeAngelo's got 9 points on the season. And
I was going to say, offensive defensive specialist Tony DeAngelo has 9 points in 25 games. Like, thanks for nothing, Tony.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and we didn't even mention newest potential weird Islander Travis Mitchell gets in, looks fine.
That's all right.
Yeah, he's just he's playing. I feel like Travis Mitchell is such like a milquetoast NHL defenseman name, and he's playing to it. But
we should shout out Cal Ritchie. Points aren't there, but looking more comfortable every game. He had a lot of jump today, which was nice to see. But again, points haven't quite been there. But that also might be the function of the line he's playing on, which seems like it's different every night.
and I was hoping to get on here and be during the middle of that Flyers game with the way Max Shabanov just took over that game.
Yes.
And being like, I can't wait to buy a Max Shabanov jersey, get a Max Shabanov tattoo. This guy's so much fun, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know what happened today, but he just seemed like he disappeared from the game. Yeah. Did he get hurt or something again? I'm not totally sure, but he kind of just got like abducted by aliens at some point through the game today. But I still love him. Yeah, he's like a feisty little guy. I love him, but like all of a sudden, like they've I don't know. We thought the 21, 22, 23, 20 to 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25 season was over. It's starting to poke its head back up and be like, gotcha.
I will say this before we go that far. I don't think it will feel that way because of Schaefer and to a lesser extent Shabanov. Like, I feel like those two guys would not have existed on that team in the same way that they exist on the team now. So I feel like those two guys do make it seem different, but the feelings after the games are over is 100% the same.
The games, the past four out of the past five, actually, this whole homestand has felt like it. Yeah. There hasn't been a game that hasn't felt like it. Yeah. And that's what's scary here is like, even with Schaefer and with Shabanov and Big Save Dave and Emil Heineman scoring all the time.
Heineman,
but it shouldn't feel that way. But the fact that it feels this close after the start and run that they had is quite eerie. And it's how many episodes have we been like, I can't wait for them to play again, right? Like I can definitely wait for them to play these games coming up. I do not want any part of them. This week is going to suck.
Yes, it will 100% suck. Perfect segue to the next second half of this episode. We're going to come back on the other side, talk about those games coming up, and then talk about some other stuff after that. And have a fun announcement, a fun one. I promise. This is actually fun. At least I think it'll be pretty fun. So check it out on the other side. Thanks. And now a word from our sponsors. VintageIceHockey.com. Over 100 classic hockey logos on t-shirts, jerseys, hats, mugs, and more. Long Island Ducks, Albany Riverettes, Danbury Trashers, Kentucky Thoroughblades, and so many more. Plus a full line of Islanders Anxiety merch with our portion of the sales going directly to the Center for Dementia Research. These incredible items cannot be found in stores, so shop VintageIceHockey.com today. Relax, sit back, and enjoy wine from The Pinot Project. Rosé, Pinot Grigio, or a Pinot Noir that was named a Best Buy by Wine Enthusiast magazine. These wines are delicious, affordable, and available at area wine shops and at UBS Arena. Learn more at thepinotproject.com. And please, drink responsibly.
Introducing Oakley Meta Vanguard, the new performance AI glasses designed for athletes. With hands-free capture on an action-ready ultra-wide camera, powerful open-ear speakers, and built-in Meta AI that syncs with your Garmin devices for real-time insights while you train. Take your performance to the next level with Oakley Meta Vanguard. Athletic intelligence is here. Learn more on meta.com.
Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
Gold Bond knows that every glow-up starts with radiant skin. So choose Gold Bond Cocoa Butter Glow for a body lotion that's clinically shown to give you smooth, glowing skin. But don't just take our word for it. 88% of people who tried Gold Bond Cocoa Butter Glow saw glowing skin in just 1 day. Gold Bond Cocoa Butter Glow. Nourish your skin. Reveal your glow. Buy now on Amazon.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
As a contractor, I don't pay for materials I don't use. So why would I pay for stuff I don't need in my mobile plan? That's why my Biz plan from Verizon Business is so perfect. Now I can choose exactly what I want, and I only pay for what I need.
Right now, with my Biz plan, get our best price, as low as $25 a line. Visit Verizon.com/business to get started today. New lines only. Price per month with 5+ lines. Includes auto pay and paper-free billing and promotional discount. Taxes, fees, economic adjustment charge. Applicable add-ons, prices, and terms apply. Guarantee applies to base monthly rate and stated discounts only. Add-on prices additional. Offers in January 5th, 2026.
You know what's great to see after you learn that one of your team's number one offensive producers is now out for the next 6 to 8 months? It is the last 6 Stanley Cup champions all on the schedule in the same week. Okay. The Islanders come next week is Tuesday night, 7:00 at home against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Thursday night, 7:00 at home against the Colorado Avalanche. Saturday night at 7:00 in Tampa again against the Lightning. Sunday, 5:00 in Sunrise against the Panthers. Oh, and by the way, next Tuesday at home against the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll talk about that next week. That, my friends, is every Stanley Cup champion going back to 2020. And they're all on the schedule for the Islanders in the same week. Now, if you remember, we just talked about this in the first half. It wasn't long ago that they embarked on this road trip and we thought, well, they're screwed. They're never going to come out of this road trip with anything resembling a record over 500. And they went 6-1. This stretch is incredibly daunting. But we've seen the Islanders kind of, buck our expectations before. Do I think they're going to do that? Absolutely no, I don't. But this week is brutal. I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and look at the rest of the schedule, but holy Christ, this looks like an impossible schedule. When I looked at that, I was like, wait a minute, what do all these teams have in common? Oh, wait, that's right. I've watched them all win a Stanley Cup within a very, very short period of time. They play the Lightning twice more this month as well. So we'll get back into one of those games in a second. But you look at this week, I mean, how are you even supposed to process this? And I know that the Panthers haven't been quite the Panthers this year. They got a lot of injuries and all that, but they're still the Panthers. We talk about bully teams. Right. We just watched the fucking Caps and Bruins and Flyers bully the Islanders. What's going to happen when they play the Panthers?
Yeah. The Islanders beat the Panthers. They beat them once last year, right? In a weird game, but
maybe I don't even remember.
I think it was like a pretty nondescript. The one I remember is when they were up 3-0. Like Mark Gatcombe scored a couple, and and I think Dennis Cholowski scored, and then the Panthers woke up and won like 6-3 or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that game. Yeah,
but yeah, I'm glad you said you didn't look at the rest of the schedule because you said it. They play the Lightning 3 times this month. No, they play the Lightning 3 times. In the first 2 weeks of December.
That's right.
and yeah, they the games that they have, right? When they're not playing one of the past Stanley Cup champions from 2020, they're playing the Ducks, who are red hot and kind of rolling.
Yeah.
So because next week is it's Panthers on Sunday, Vegas, Ducks, Lightning again, and the one thing I will say is I'm glad to get 3 straight start times in a row of the same start time, I should say. 3 7 p.m. games in a row.
Yes.
So that's nice. Not to be like, I think the Islanders are at 1 today. Maybe it's 4, 3:30. But yeah, then next week the weird start times rear their ugly head again. But yeah, I mean, it's what the Lightning are cruising. They just beat the doors off the Rangers, which was fun to watch.
Yes.
They were like out shooting them like 18-2 at one point. And of course we're only up like 1-0, so I'm sitting there being like, oh, of course, like the Rangers will Chris Kreider plays for the Ducks, but they'll get a power play and shoot one off the back of Chris Kreider's head and past Jonas Johansson and in.
The Avalanche, by the way, could also win the Cup this year. Like that's not right?
They're on pace for some absurd amount of points.
Yes.
Like I think they're like 6 or 7 points clear of the all-time points record.
Yeah.
So Lightning, Avalanche, Lightning, Panthers is and you throw in there, of course, we'll talk about it on the next episode, the Brock Nelson
right
comeback tour. He's heating up at the perfect time to score a hat trick for the Islanders. He's in one of his Brock Nelson, as I always said, like, Brock Nelson might not be the best player in the NHL, but he's the best player in the NHL at being the best player in the NHL for 2 weeks at a time, a couple times a year. and I think he's in the middle of one of those stretches right now, so that's good. Yeah, he scored a couple goals. He had 4 points against Noah Dobson and the Canadiens the other night, but he was wearing Quebec Nordiques jerseys, which really didn't sit well with me. I'm like, look, Brock Nelson's an Islander. Islanders are not supposed to like give into these like kitschy marketing ploys. Why are they wearing? I'd be so mad if I was a Quebec Nordiques fan that the Avalanche are wearing those jerseys.
Yeah, this is a whole conversation.
Yeah,
now that people are having,
But especially with Brock Nelson's doing it, right? Like he should just be wearing an Islanders jersey while playing for the Avalanche. But yeah, I mean, I'm not looking forward to any of these. I feel like one of them is just going to be the way that these losing streaks tend to go. Like you're playing well but losing, we're going to come out of it, and then you just get absolutely demolished by a good team. So I'm kind of expecting Tuesday that the Islanders lose 6 or 7-1 to the Lightning, and then maybe they have like the we're mad game and play okay against the Avalanche and lose, and maybe they could take one of the games in Florida. But that Florida 2-step is, I mean, especially with the 7 p.m. start and then 22 hours later against the Panthers. We'll see if there's a Panther who's being honored for his 1000th game that night, because we all remember last year, of course, it was Dmitry Kulikov, and the Islanders showed him the utmost respect by staying out there, and Paul Maurice was quite keen to point that out. So hopefully there is a Panther that does get honored before that game, so we can do that again. But it's also like a tough schedule spot, right? That Avalanche game starts 3 and 4. Yeah. And then you're talking 4 and 6, where the 4 opponents in those 6 days are Avalanche, Lightning, Panthers, Vegas. So it's just, I mean, this is why we're as mad. Like you can look at the season and be like, there's so much good that is going in the right direction. There's so many things going in the right direction for the Islanders. Schaefer, they've got this, a pipeline with Yzerman and Ritchie and Eklund and Kashawn Aitchison, and they've got their 2 picks in the first round for next year. Like they've got a ton to look forward to in the future. But we're in the season. We're in the middle of the season. We're now in the second quarter of the season, and the Islanders were pretty good in the first quarter and completely blew that up. And they blew it up right before they play the Lightning, Avalanche, Lightning, Panthers, Knights. Like, you think that was blowing it up? Wait till the Alex Steves was scoring against them the other night. Like now it's going to be Nathan McKinnon. Like it's not, it's this, you can see how this goes pear-shaped so quickly. I hope I'm wrong. Like I desperately want to get to this team to be in the mix. They've been fun for the most part of the season. I want to root for this team to continue to win games and inject some life into UBS Arena. And there's a lot of likable things on this team. And there's some guys at the end of their contracts that I don't want to see bandied about on the real Kipper trade board, the only real trade board out there. And I just, I don't want to see that all get blown up in 2 weeks after going 6-1 on that incredible road trip. Yeah. Like we didn't get any chance to exalt in that.
No, they came back and immediately lost to St. Louis, and we were just been downhill from there. Don't forget, they also played the Avalanche. The one game they lost on that road trip was in Colorado, and they played the Avalanche really tough. Like that was another game, I think.
Probably their best game of the season.
Yeah. Didn't they also give up 2 empty net goals in that one too?
Yeah, No, well, like Brock scored against Sorokin, but it was like
Yeah. So I can see this home game going against Colorado going a couple of different ways. One, the Avalanche could remember that and be pissed off and, just come out and slam on the brakes, like you said, just completely blow them out. Or the Islanders can go into that game with some confidence and that could be the one game that they end up winning. Whereas, they lose another kind of shooting gallery where they pepper Vasilevsky with 40 shots and the Lightning win 3-1. And then they get blown out in Tampa on Saturday. That to me, the game in Tampa has the highest likelihood of blowout. And then of course, they'll lose the next night.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, they're going to be mad when they play the Panthers. Oh no, they're just ready to go home again.
No, they won't, no. That's just this team that they don't have that software plugged in there. Now that being said, so again, they're playing the Lightning twice this week. It's less than ideal. They are cooking right now, and they look like the Lightning again. They didn't for the first couple of weeks of the season, but now they look like the Lightning again. So, good luck with all that. But on Saturday, the December 13th, which is not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, the Islanders are home again to the Tampa Bay Lightning. That is a matinee game. It's at 3:30. That is also the Pat LaFontaine Islanders Hall of Fame induction game, where they're going to finally, induct Pat LaFontaine finally into the team's Hall of Fame. both of us will be at that game. And at least one of us, most likely me, will be at Belmont Hall around 1 before the game. Game is at 3:30. I'm going to try and get there around 1, chill out, maybe get some food. Mike was hoping to get there. We don't know. He's got a lot going on that day with a lot of his family members coming in. So it might be both of us, might be one of us. I don't know. But if you're down, you want to come hang out at Belmont Hall, 1 o'clock, please do. We're not recording or anything. I'll just be kind of hanging out, talking, seeing if we can see as many people as possible. And then we're there for the game. So, we'll all take in the game. If you're going to win a game at UBS Arena, please make it that one, please. I'm begging you on behalf of Pat LaFontaine. I'll be the guy in the Pat LaFontaine jersey. I know that's, there might be a few of those also in that game, but I'll be the guy in the Pat LaFontaine jersey. I'll wear my Hydra hat as well, my gray and red Hydra MCU hat. So you should be able to spot me. But Belmont Hall, around 1 o'clock, I'm taking the train in on Saturday the 13th. But either way, we'll be there for the game. So I don't know, come by, say hello. It'd be great. So that's that. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's rough. We'll talk about the Vegas and Anaheim and third Lightning game next week. We are going to record after next week's Panthers game, which is again 5 o'clock. So we'll do the thing at our usual time, and that'll come out on Monday. But yeah, brutal stretch. Anything else on these games before we move on and just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best, I guess.
I can already picture myself turning the TV off so many times over the next 3 or 4 games. Like I can see, I'm looking over in the direction of my den, and I can see where I will be when the Lightning or Avalanche or both or Panthers, they go up, 3 with 18 minutes left, and I'm just sitting there, click, and saying, "Yep, we can watch whatever you want to watch now." To Isla or Emily or whatever, because this is over. So
the high likelihood of I don't got time for this shit. In these games, it's the holidays. We're gonna get snow apparently on Tuesday. Like I don't got time for this shit. Like I got presents to buy or wrap, or I'm just not in the mood. It's too cold. I don't want to deal with this. So forget it. But you never know. I mean, again, like these guys have a lot of pride. And over the last week, they have suffered great losses, not only on the ice, but their friends. They don't like JG Pageau. Matthew Darche said should be back around Christmas, hopefully, or before Christmas. So hopefully that happens, because then it'll set the lineup right. This is an opportunity for a lot of guys to get in there and make some hay. It sucks that Palmieri is out, but this is your chance. This is how sports work. You have a chance now to stake your claim to a piece of the lineup, because he's not going to come back unless you're in the Stanley Cup final. Even then, it seems unlikely. So there are reasons, I think, for hope. If you do have hope, I don't think that's actually crazy. But man, this homestand just did not turn out the way it was supposed to. It's really, really annoying. So we'll see. Another good thing is December 1st, the day you're listening to this, is the next episode of On the Island. So that'll be fun. I'm sure that'll cover the great and wonderful road trip and all the hope that we had then. So maybe that'll inspire them as well. So we'll see. Okay. We've been talking around this the whole episode. We want to get into this. We had a couple of other ideas, but I think, we had some thoughts on this too. So we're about a quarter of the way through the season here. And we want to talk about MSG Networks and how they've been covering the Islanders. I think before we get into our various, pluses and minuses, pros and cons of these guys, I think you're probably like me in that you think that you watch a lot of hockey from around the league. I try and watch games every once in a while on ESPN Plus and check out different broadcast crews. And I mean, I think regardless of what we're gonna say here, I think it's safe to say that we both feel like this is a top tier broadcast crew. And like maybe we're just biased because we watch these guys all the time, but like I put them up against anybody in the league, and I think they come out great. That was even with Butch, who of course was like, the weak link, quote unquote. But I love Butch, so he's not to me. But am I right? And like you think that this is a really good broadcast group here? I think they do a great job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they call a game exactly how you want your home. Like when whistle to whistle, I should say. Like they call a game the way you want it to. I've got no like complaints about how like a game is called or anything like that, in terms of like play by play or just like that kind of stuff, like the X's and O's, so to speak. So yeah, I would agree with that. And yeah, I actually saw Butch. I gave Butch a walk by fist bump on Friday. He was
cool.
having a conversation with somebody, and I just said, "Hey, Butch," and pounded him and walked to watch the Islanders go down 3-0 early. So but yeah, I mean, Butch is, I think I miss Butch sorely, but we'll get into all that. But I mean, there's no, I think even as like an outside observer, I feel like most people be like, yeah, it's a good, tidy broadcast.
Yeah. I would say that, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything that's offensive about it. They do a good job. That being said, I found it funny that, you and I both kind of independently of each other in our group chat, this at different points this weekend, we're like, oh my God, these guys are pissing me off so much. And again, we love the broadcast. We love everybody who's on it. But it was getting a little annoying. And I have in one of my notes here, it was after the first period against Philly, which again, the Islanders were down 2-0. And Thomas Hickey, who was doing the color at that time. Now, again, not only do we love the broadcast, but I always feel compelled to say this whenever we mention Thomas Hickey. I always feel compelled to say this. We have been huge fans of this man since the Islanders picked him up on waivers in January of 2014, okay? Or 2013, excuse me. We have been huge fans of his when he was on the ice. We were saying at that time, this man is going to make a great analyst and broadcaster because he's just so polished. He's so intelligent. He speaks great. We can't wait for that time, and we hope it's with the Islanders. And here he is. He does a great job. But he was driving me absolutely bonkers at the end of this period because the Islanders are down 2-0, off of an egregious giveaway, 2 egregious giveaways, frankly. And he was just like, aside from those 2 mistakes, I think you'd be pretty satisfied with that period. And the way he was talking about it made me feel like I was crazy for being mad that the Islanders were down 2-0 after 4 games of shit during this all-important homestand. And I did not appreciate it. I didn't like it at all. And in fact, the toxic positivity continued throughout most of the broadcast. And like you said, it happened today too against the Capitals. Another thing today too got me mad. I'll get into that in a minute. But like, I just don't see the value in like trying to tell me that was a good period when the Islanders are down 2-0 in the 4th game of a 7-game homestand where they have won 1 game. Like, why not just say the truth? Like, they did not, this is not what they needed. This was not the period that they needed at this point. Yeah, you used 2 mistakes, but like, you can't have those mistakes. You can't afford those mistakes where you're at in the standings. You're tumbling down the standings. Fans at home are losing confidence. You can't make those mistakes. Yes, it's only 2 mistakes, but you cannot make them. So that's what I wanted to hear. And of course, I didn't want to hear like all the rainbows and sunshine and positivity. Not so much this specific thing, although I don't know if you caught it, that'd be great. But like, was there a similar moment that you had, I think, that was also kind of driving you nuts, where they were a little bit too positive about the Islanders being completely, outclassed in that situation?
Yeah. So it was funny when you said that. You sent that text when I was at the game on Friday against the Flyers. I looked up at the shot clock to see what he could possibly be saying to kind of silver lining that period, which they had also ended with a dumb penalty.
Yeah, true.
Which bit him. And I looked at it, I'm like, the Flyers had 3 shots and goals, the Islanders had 5. I'm like, that just tells me that nobody played well in this period, but one team has 2 goals and another team has 0, and they're going to score on a power play here. So, I could hear it. I think, and as you said, like nothing but admiration for Thomas Hickey and how intelligent he is. And we were stumping for him to like do this or to become the GM while he was playing for the Islanders. Like, this guy thinks and talks and sees the game so well, and he's got great hair and he's a very good looking dude. Like, he's on his way to where he is right now. But I do think that when you with this broadcast in particular can well, when the Islanders have played the way that they had played since moving to UBS Arena in the 2021 to 25 season, to be determined if it continues. You do have to like work hard sometimes to silver lining things, especially because you can't be too critical of a team on your home broadcast anymore. It's just not allowed. You'll get in trouble, especially if you work for the Rangers. And with that caveat, I understand it, but the Islander fan base just doesn't jive with that really. Like you just gotta. Why did we love Butchie? We like Butchie because Butchie's watching them pass the puck around on a power play, and Noah Dobson fumbles it at the blue line. He's like, shit, Dobson! Like, come on, the Dobbers got to be better than that, right? And,
right.
And that's nice because you're like, that's our guy. That's our our representation in the booth right there is the guy who won 4 Stanley Cups with the Islanders, just like we did. So you do need that. It just feels like they don't have any of it right now. So during today's game. After the first period, the Capitals score on a power play. As like the Islanders might as well just not had sticks in their hands, all 4 of them. The ref should have been like, Islanders, hand over your sticks because the way the Capitals scored so easily on that power play, they might have had a better chance without it. Like they just weren't using them or doing anything. And the period ends. You're now in down 1-0. Tons of kids in the building.
Yeah.
Matinee, holiday weekend coming to a close. You just lost to the Blues. You have shootout 1 in a shutout against the Kraken. Then you lost to the Bruins and the Flyers, teams you're competing with. You're losing now to another team you're competing with, the Capitals, on the heels of all that. The last thing I want to hear is you got, a lot to like about that period. Just got to come out and get it. And right. I get it. I get like, yeah, maybe like they played fine. That's fine. But they're losing and they had just lost 2 in a row and they had just completely squandered all the goodwill that you guys are acting. They called that game as if the Islanders had just come. That was the first game of the homestand after the road
right.
trip rather than the 5th.
Yeah.
And I'm just not picking up what you're putting down in that situation. I think that the most egregious culprit of this is over the years has been Shannon, but it's just who she is. Like,
yeah,
I always allude to being up late at like 1:30 in the morning watching the Islanders lose 2-1 to the Kraken or the Flames in a game and being like, God damn it. And then she's like, well, the Islanders did try really hard for those of you who stayed up tonight. And I'm like, right. No, they did it. Screaming at my TV at 2 in the morning. They didn't try hard.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable place to be because
yeah.
I was saying to a couple of my friends, like, I can tell it's going really bad because Thomas Hickey is like the last person I ever want to be mad at in my life. It's like being mad at your puppy. Like, right. I don't want to be mad at you. Like I'm not mad at you. Right. I'm mad at myself for being mad at you because of the Islanders. Yeah. Like you're putting my mind in a knot to find a way to be mad. I am now taking out my anger on you for calling a good game. And I don't want to be in that situation, but that's what this homestand has done. It's been just the homestand from it's not the home. You can't say it's the homestand from hell, right. But it's getting pretty close to it because it's not over yet.
Yeah, exactly. We should shout out Shannon, who had no voice on Friday, but toughed it out for 2 periods. And she's a trooper. And again, she's good at what she does. Like, she's very, very good at the hosting, at the intermission interviews. I mean, her bench interviews now, I think, have gone somewhat viral. Like, there's great. She's great. We love having her on the broadcast. But yeah, that thing, I think what it is, and like you articulated it really well right there. I think what it is, it's just a lack of context. Like, not just are they not taking into consideration the previous games on this particular homestand. And it's not just like they do this. We're not just talking about this homestand. They do this a lot. Like, they're coming in following. No game is really on an island. Like, every game sort of follows the games that happened before it. And there's no context there of like, well, this is the 3rd straight time where the Islanders have outplayed right. their opponent and don't have any goals to show for it. And also, they're not sort of understanding the situation. Like, that's my issue there. Like, it's not that the Islanders made 2 mistakes and are down 2-0 and I should be happy about how they played. It's that the Islanders are down 2-0 in a game against an inferior opponent that they should be able to beat at 4 games into a homestand where they have not actually scored any goals or won any games. Like, that context and that situational awareness is what's missing from this. Like, yeah, I get it. They outshot the Flyers or whatever, I guess by 2 or whatever it was. And like, there were some moments there that looked okay, but it's not about just this period. It's about the periods that came before it. And the fact that, a week ago, this team was flying as high as possible. And now they're hanging on. They're got punched in the mouth by the Flyers in the first period. Like, he didn't know that they were going to make it 3-0 a minute into the second period. I understand that, but like, you got to be aware of the situation. And this is what we always talk about when it comes to Arthur Staple. Obviously, Art is a print journalist. He's not like a broadcaster, although he is doing a great job on Hockey Night New York with our friend Sean Cuthbert, which is recording right now, actually. But like, Art always kind of knows where the fan base is at and what they're feeling and what their anxieties are, what they're mad about, what they're happy about, what they're looking forward to, what's not working for them. And like, I feel like MSG doesn't quite have that awareness. Like, they just don't understand, like, we are pissed off that this team has come home to this homestand that should have been a chance to make against some hay and pick up some points. And those points are now squandered, and the goodwill from the road trip is now gone. Like, you need to understand that before you can kind of like give us the points and stuff. Because that knowing that, having that awareness, you can still give us the same information, but it can be relayed in a way that understands that context. And like, so we're not like mad about it. I will call out Shannon for one thing though. In the second intermission of today's game against the Caps, they aired an interview with Alex Ovechkin. Now, we've all seen many interviews with Alex Ovechkin. This interview was just as riveting as all of the others, which is to say, was not riveting at all. He just did a lot of ums and uhs and talked about what an honor it was to score a goal at UBS Arena that, broke the record and all that. That's all fine and good. A, I don't need to see an interview with Alex Ovechkin on an Islanders broadcast. B, the way Shannon sort of like interacted with Ovechkin, it was almost like he was like a visiting dignitary. And like, he was like the prime minister of Japan, and she had to like bow to him and like,
thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it here. And like the way she
handed like a bouquet or something, like a gift.
yeah, exactly. Like, I know this guy has scored, 400 more goals than the highest Islander on the list. I get all that, and like, he's obviously a first ballot everything, but like, we've seen this guy play a million times. Like, I don't even know whose idea was this. Who? This is exactly what I was just saying. Who at MSG Networks thought, what Islanders fans want to see at the intermission of this Capitals game? Obviously, they didn't know what the score was going to be at the time, but like, what they want to see? They want to see an interview with Alex Ovechkin. That's what they're looking for. No. So if I was in a room and somebody said that, like, how about we get Ovi for an interview? I would have been like, no. Why? Why would you want that? If you're going to interview a Capital, talk to Beauvillier.
Yeah, right, right.
Like, let's get him. What's going on with him, man? And then people could be like, you know what? I'm glad to see that goofball again. I'm glad to see that blue-eyed, smiling goofball one more time. Even if he doesn't say anything, who cares? Like, I'm having a great time in Washington. Hey, man, good for you. That's the guy we would have wanted to hear from, not Ovechkin. What the hell? Like, I don't know. Anyway, It's again baffling decision based on the situational context of what's going on.
Yeah, this is this is what happens, right? When losing has consequences, and one of the consequences is that you like your anger is going to outlet down different streams, and one of the streams is hitting the broadcast. And I don't think we're alone. Like, it just I think you nailed it. Like the lack of context, and like the cameras it's almost as if it's like a sitcom. Like the cameras turn on and then they turn off, and like nothing else. Not a sitcom, like a show. What would you call a show that like each episode is like a complete new story?
An anthology series.
An anthology series. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, like Twilight Zone. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So like it's almost like that is like how they're approaching it. It's like the cameras turn on and they're calling the game as if this is game 1 of the season. I'm like, it's not right now. It's not. It's not like, yeah. And you always hear it from. On Twitter, especially like the early days of Twitter, when people are trying to like figure out or blogging and all that, like that you never played the game kind of conversation. I'm like, well, at the same time, you never sat on a couch and watched the game and understood like and felt like it was life and death while you're sitting alone on your sofa with the lights off and nobody around you, and it's 9:30 at night and you are now really mad for the next 2 hours before you go to bed. Like, until you've had that experience, like, you don't know what it's like on this side of the glass, and that's who your audience is. So yeah, I mean, it's sour grapes because the Islanders are losing, and we can't just be like the power play is 32nd in the league every episode, or they're not scoring, or they can't win at home. But yeah, it was just, the entire week was just so irritating. It was so irritating because it was so perfectly set up for them. Holiday weekend, everybody's home from school. You've been banging the drums, making no secret. I keep getting mailers. I get mailers from the Islanders. Election season's over, so I don't get mailers from anybody who like these people I've never heard of before. But I get mailers from the Islanders being like, "Here's a ticket offer," whatever. Mailers.
Yeah,
it's like that's I don't know why, but I'm getting mailers. Like, I'm getting something in the mail, physical mail from the Islanders. That is something that I would get from the Islanders in 2007, maybe. And they probably were like, hey, you know what we got to do is cut cost on the printing and the graphics by not sending people mail that they're just going to junk as soon as they take it out of their mailbox and they throw it in the garbage along with the Kate Murray, poster thing that she sends, right? So it's pretty obvious they want people to come to the game, and they're trying to sell this whole UBS Arena experience. And this week was a perfect opportunity to do so because everyone's home and the crowd should be banging off the wall. And they just, they looked at an unbelievable opportunity in the mouth, and they shook their head and they said, nah, we'll try again against the Lightning and the Avalanche and the Lightning again, and then the Panthers and then the Lightning again, and also the Vegas Golden Knights sprinkled in there. We'll go that route instead.
Yeah.
So
that mailer should say, you get for $50, you get 2 tickets, 2 hot dogs, 2 drinks, and 2 Remax Islanders baseball caps.
Yeah, right.
That's what it should say. Because that was what it was back in the early 2000s. Late 90s.
Kids under 8 free.
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly.
Come see the 32nd best power play in the league.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or they would be like, come see Mario Lemieux. Come see, Joe Sakic.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, those guys are good. Not our guys. Those good guys. Those guys are good.
I used to love the packages that they'd show, like the pregame packages on Sportsnet or FSN in New York or MSG back in the day, and it'd be like, Howie doing like the voiceover of the montage, and it would be like Alex Ovechkin or Sidney Crosby and the Penguins are coming down. It's look out for Steve Yzerman, Pavel Datsyuk, and the Detroit Red Wings against Mike Comrie.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The video package is Mario Strakowski and Barry Richter. Meanwhile, it's like, this is Owen Nolan is here. Dominic Hasek is that's great. Thanks.
Yeah, Hasek, Flaherty, Islanders, Sabres up next.
Yeah. But it's, again, like, what we're saying is that there's a disconnect here. Like,
there's a disconnect.
The team, and again, it's so funny because like we've been talking for almost 90 minutes now. We've complained a lot about these losses, this homestand, the broadcast now, like, the team trying to get people into their arena and all that kind of stuff. But like at the same time, there are things to be happy about. Like Matthew Schaefer is still here. Oh, sorry. One quick stupid thing. I was watching the Habs, I think it was Habs Golden Knights game the other day. I forget who it was. And again, it was just, I just threw it on. And they were talking about Ivan Demidov, and they're going through like all the Habs at like the quarter, the season point, and Carlo Koliakovo, this was on TSN. Carlo Koliakovo was like the intermission guy. And he was like, Demidov, he's got 15 points, I think he said, and he does all these great plays. And, to me, he's definitely the front runner for the Calder Trophy. And I was like, does Carlo has he not heard about, Demidov has less points than Schaefer. Demidov has less points than Palmieri. Does that hurt? So I'm sure the guy's great and everything. But meanwhile, I was listening to somebody, I forget what it was, and they were talking about Jesper Wallstedt, who's the goalie for the Wild, who's been amazing. He's on an incredible run right now. And they were the exact opposite. They were like, he could win every game for the rest of the season. Matthew Schaefer's still winning the Calder Trophy. So, so it's important to remember that Schaefer is still here. Barzal is out here literally trying to will games on his own. He just, like everybody else, he's just shooting blanks. And again, the MSG broadcast, here we are complaining about it, is top notch. I mean, I would take them over literally any other broadcast in the entire NHL, maybe in all of sports. But people have to understand like what is actually going on with this team right now versus like how you're trying to sell the team to
right
us.
right now is the key word, right? Those
Yeah.
are the key words. Like right now, the last thing we want to hear is
Yeah.
this. We want you to be like, go into your fridge, find that Ben and Jerry's pint, and dig in, because you deserve it for sitting through that first period. and it'll make the intermission feel a little bit better if you're
Right.
having some Cherry Garcia, right? Like that's what we we want to hear. And I think the disconnect is the right way to sum it up. I think still there's just something that's not computing with the powers that be and the fan base, and that connection is just not there right now as it was. And it's just, you got to understand who this fan base is. It's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. They just want the Islanders to be good. They want their favorite pizzerias to stay open, and that's it. Like that's what matters to this fan base. We don't need to be sold anything else. Yeah. We just want the Islanders to win. We want to wear our Islanders stuff with pride, and we want to wear that stuff to the pizzerias that we like to frequent. Like that's it. Like it's not that difficult. They're making it more difficult than it is, right. Almost in a way. Oh, yeah. And it's like, God, if only you understood how easy it was. Like you'd have to work 1 day a week. Be like, oh, man, the Islanders lost last night. Sorry, like I'm not going to bother you today. Hey, the Islanders won. You want to come out to UBS Arena? Hell yeah, I do. Like it's not that difficult.
No. And and I mean, most of it starts with the team, obviously learning how to score goals in their own home arena. But that being said, I mean, the way they're being sold to us could be a little bit different. But that being said, the season is not over yet. The Islanders are just below the playoff cutoff line as we speak right here. They have the same 29 points as the Penguins, but they're below on the winning percentage. Same thing. Every team in the East is still bunched up. The Sabres are in last place, but really they're only 5 points out of the playoffs. So do I think they're going to make up that 5 points? No, but it's a very tight season and anything can happen, which again makes losing games at home on this long homestand, like the way the Islanders have, all the more frustrating, because had they won these games, they would be on the better side of this teeter-totter than they are right now. So we'll see what happens after these next couple of games, which again are not going to be easy. But maybe they have a heart-to-heart meeting. And again, maybe it's time for some guys to come out and shine. We didn't really get to talk about it this time, but frankly, there's too many black holes right now in the lineup. Yep. Too many black holes in the depth forward department. Too many black holes on D, like you said. No D-man scores outside of Schaefer. It's frustrating. The guys that they have that you would think would be offensive players on D are just haven't been. And they've got too many McLeans and Duclairs and Kazazikas right now that they're not doing anything. But
and Adam Pelech's
always ready.
I think Adam Pelech's played pretty well this season.
Yes.
He hasn't scored since that Penguins overtime game. Like it's been like 180 something games for him. It's right. Like that's.
I can't remember the last time I saw him get even an assist.
Yeah, he's got 2 points. He's got the same amount of points as Marshall Warren this season.
Hasn't played in a month and a half.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I'm just confirming this. So the only other defenseman with a goal this season is Tony DeAngelo, and he's got one.
So, but I keep saying the opportunity's there. It's right there. I mean, right. No, they're not listening to this, but like Anthony Duclair, it's right there for you to take and make something happen and show them, show us, show the world that just because there's no Kyle Palmieri doesn't mean that this team can't still make the playoffs. Now, that being said, I think this sort of rejiggers our conception of what this team is going to be. And, if they do miss the playoffs, as I think, we kind of still expected them to do, it was funny. We started out with no expectations. Then we're like, they're 0-3. They're definitely going to miss the playoffs. This is going to be a long season. Then all of a sudden they're good. And it's like, oh shit, they can make the playoffs. Now it's like, well, no Palmieri, no Romanov, no Pajot. They're definitely missing the playoffs. So, there's it's been quite a roller coaster, but it doesn't have to be. Again, now is your chance to make something happen. So I don't know. Any final thoughts? I'll get to the whole spiel in a second, but I'll just ask your final thoughts now. That we haven't talked about yet, that covers these last 3 losses and potentially 4 games coming up that could also seal what this season is going to be.
No, I mean, I just, I'd love for them to just wipe away that 1,000 yard stare that I've had and unfortunately, their upcoming opponents make that quite difficult. I don't know. It's just, Lucy and the football is like the only thing I could think about. I was really starting to like rejigger I was actually talking to Gavin, our good friend from England, who's now a season ticket holder with the Islanders. He's like, I'm clearing my schedule for May right now, a couple of days ago, right? And I was like, me too. Like, I got to figure it out. I'm trying to, game out what to do with the kids and how that's going to work and all that, and for playoff games, and to having that conversation with other people. And it's whatever, November 17th, 10 o'clock at night, they just beat the Stars, and I'm having like these kind of conversations. And 2 weeks later, it's like I can't even imagine them being involved in a playoff race in a couple weeks, and I don't want to feel that way. Like, so if I can just not have to wear that 1,000-yard stare after an Islander game for the next few weeks, that'd be nice.
I can't imagine them scoring a goal
in
the next 4 games.
Right. Today, God, it's so obvious.
Let me end with this. So actually, let me do the spiel, and then we'll end with, I'll ask you a question in a second. Just give me 1 second to do this whole thing. Become a member at patreon.com/IslandersAnxiety. You guys know the drill. Again, you can gift a subscription too, so do that to your Islanders fan friends today. Our theme song is Morning Haze by Family Dinner. Listen to more of their music on Spotify. Read Lighthouse Hockey every single day for your most up-to-date Islanders news and discussion. Islanders Anxiety Podcast are part of the Fans First Sports Network. Find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Please leave us a review where you can. Please subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Shop at VintageIceHockey.com. Try wines from the Pinot Project. We dumped a ton of stuff on Friday on the Patreon. We did our Weird Islanders episode with our friend Pinholes Graham about his great documentary, The Last Days of Bedlam. We talked about the Weird Islanders there, but we also had conversations about some non-Weird Islanders, including Rick DiPietro, Richard Park, Mike Sillinger, Chris Simon. That stuff is on the Patreon. You can get that over there on our Weird Islanders extra episodes. And we also put a bunch of encore episodes of Weird Islanders podcast for guys that we reference in that episode. So it's a wealth of stuff. Listen to the Weird Islanders, the podcast episode with Pinholes if you haven't already. And definitely check out his documentary, which we've said a million times, Last Days of Bedlam. Okay, here's the final question. 4 games coming up. How many goals per game do you think the Islanders will average in those 4 games? Again, Lightning, Avalanche, Lightning, Panthers.
Like just shy of 2, like 1.72 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just shy of 2. So you think they get like maybe 2 or 3 in one and then like shut out?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. They're look, you got to go into this week mentally prepared for 2 shutouts. Like there's going to be 2 games where you're just, there's going to be one that's just a complete waste of time where they just get the doors blown off them right away.
Yeah.
There's going to be that, shutout. And then the other 2, hopefully they could maybe steal a win or 2 or something. But I think it's going to be really hard for them to get anything going.
Yeah. Okay. So you're at about 1.72, just shy of 2. I'm going to go 1 on the button. I think it's going to be 1. I think they might get 2 and 1, and then shut out twice. Get 1-1, and then or whatever. However that math works out. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can't win one of these games. You could still win a game 2-1, or Sorokin stands on his head against the Panthers and they win 2-0 or something. Something like that happens. But I think they will come back averaging a goal a game in these 4 games. So we'll see. We'll see who's closer. Maybe we're both wrong. Maybe they average, maybe they blow all these teams out. Who the hell knows? Or they average 0 goals. I don't know. Something like that. But we shall see. It's not looking great. But listen, the show's called Islanders Anxiety. So I don't know what else you want from us. But thank you for listening. We will be back next week at the same exact time, and we'll recap all 4 of these games and look forward towards the next ones. All right. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.